All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Football Focus Weekly. I'm the Pep Man, Matt Morrow. And tonight, we'll be, of course, talking about the round two of the state playoffs. We got a lot of big games to discuss. We're going to be talking about the Queen City Senior Bowl. I'll share the rosters with you. Of course, if you're watching this show, you probably know who made it to the bowl game and who didn't. But we'll kind of break down the East and West rosters. We'll have a special guest join us as well. We'll do Pep Man's players. We might have to push it back a little bit because we're starting a little late. But we'll fit in Pep Man's players. The engine, we'll talk about the showcase, which is just picking up steam with coaches coming in and committing to attend. And we've got a lot of players signing up, so that's going great. And then we'll, of course, do our predictions, and then we'll do slime time. But a lot of focus tonight will be on the second round playoff games. So sit tight. If you notice, I've got a new name. There's a special theme for tonight's show because we need to have a special theme, and we'll, splice that in throughout tonight's show. So sit back, relax. We're gonna run the intro. And we'll be right back. Little bit of NWO because we have been a little bit attacked, and when you come for one of CFI, you come at all of CFI. So, yeah, we kind of feel like we're the NWO of high school sports football. And tonight's show is going to reflect some of that. We got black, I'm in the dark. It's going to be a theme tonight. Here is the first member of the NWO.
CFI for life.
Too sweet!
As my man Tupac said, you either ride with us or collide with us. It's as simple as that for me and my CFI family.
Another member of CFI.
I can't even be hard.
I thought you were going to say something.
What's understood don't have to be explained. If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Oh, man.
I love it.
So, yeah, that's what's going on tonight. We got one comment. Oh, I'm scared to see what this is. A little bit, Markel. A little bit, man. You know, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you, Jermaine. Appreciate it. We're gonna reference a little bit more NWO. If you're a fan of '90s wrestling, you're gonna enjoy the show tonight. But that being said, we're gonna get back to business. We got our first guest ready to go. We're gonna be going a little out of order, so I'll put you guys in the background because I'm gonna talk to a young man who is who's got a great story. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Queen City Senior Bowl during this segment, but I wanted to talk to this young man because he's got a great story. He actually reached out to me a couple of years ago and was asking, for advice about his game and sent me his film. And I got to know him a little bit. And his sophomore year was the first time he ever learned about football. And to me, I was kind of like, wow, what's the deal? And well, I won't spoil the whole story. Let me bring him on the show here, and he is Forest View's offensive lineman / defensive lineman, but he got selected to the Queen City Senior Bowl as a defensive lineman, and that is Kenneth Odugbo. And I'm going to bring him on the show with me right
Hello?
now. Hey, what's up, man?
I'm sorry, sir. My internet was messing up. Can you hear me, sir?
Oh yeah, you sound good, man. You're great. How you doing?
Sir. I'm doing good, sir. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Well, I wanted to bring you on here on the show with us tonight because I think you've got a great story of how you got into football and then you've developed rapidly over the past 2 years to be in the Queen City Senior Bowl.
Yes,
So
sir.
first of all, tell me, how did you learn about high school football, and then how did you get to Forest View and start playing football in the first place?
What, like, in that post, are you referring to when I said that I've been playing football for like 2 years constantly? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Like when I said I've been playing football for 2 years constantly, I meant like actually participating and being on the team for 2 years constantly. I really like first time I was ever like on the football field was like in 8th grade, but it was just like I was just there, like I was kind of chubby, so everybody was like, just go to the football. So I played football, but I didn't really know anything. I just played. Um, so I think freshman year, I was still on the field. Same thing. But then the whole COVID thing happened. So like my understanding for football, everything was just like all over. I did not know a single thing. Didn't watch any NFL game, no football game, not a single thing. But then my junior year, I was working out with Kamari and Taz. That's what you guys call him, Jacob Neely. I was working out with Kamari and Jacob Neely. We're like the three musketeers. That's like my best friends. So like we always go to the field and work out together and stuff. So that junior year, they used to like always pick on me and stuff. They'd be like, "Bro, you trash, bro, you trash, bro." Like, cause I didn't play football at all. It's like, bro, you trash. So I went to the field and it was like, and one day I just saw like a ball passing by and I was like, the dude just said, "You don't have to know what you're doing. Just go to where the ball is and just hit the person that have the ball." So I was like, okay. So I was on the field, and that was literally the mindset that I played football for like the whole time. Like, but then junior year, I think it was a scrimmage or it was a jamboree, and I made a tackle, and the ref was like, "First down." And I looked at Christian Williams, and I looked at him and I was like, "Hey, bro, that's what a first down is?" And he looked at me. He's like, "You serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm serious. Like, this is literally like mid-play." I'm talking to him like, "I just learned what that was right now." But then junior year, I just played the whole time with just straight like athletic ability. Like I just knew how to run, and I was just competing with Taz. Like, well, yeah, Jacob. I was competing with Jacob, and like if you see your friend, that's why like I feel like it's pretty good to have like hard workers around you because like Jacob was always working out. So like I couldn't just like if I said like, "Hey Jacob, let's hang out," he'd be like, "I'm at the field." I'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna come get me." So that little like I'm always around them. I want Kamari too. Like those are two hard workers. So I was just, excuse me. So I was just right there. So when they left, to go play in college now, last year, like this year, I was just like, this is gonna feel incredibly weird that those two people that was my so-called reason to be on the football field and perform good, I don't really have that anymore. So I had to like look back and like, because the people that was there, people that I had this season with, those are people like though I wasn't really that close with them. I was close, like I've known them, but Mari and Taz, like those two people that I was like, so I had to click into it. My mentality, I'm like, bro, they playing in college right now. Do you want to get to them and go hang out with your friends? You have to perform good too, because they're at high school, they're at good school. So I was like, oh yeah, bet, we're gonna do this. So
that's that's awesome, man. That's really awesome. That those two guys got you, really into the game. Now, tell me, what was the feeling when you found out that you made the Queen City Senior Bowl?
Honestly, I was like, are you serious? That's really what it was. That's what it was. But at the same time, like, I don't know, like at the same time, I knew I was gonna be in it. But at the same time, I knew I was gonna be in it last year. Like last year when I kept going back to Mari and Taz, like when they got invited last year, it was in the group chat. And I texted in the group chat, I'm like, bro, y'all do know the only reason why I'm not selected is because I'm a senior, right? And I'm not a senior, right? And they go, no, bro, you just trash. So I'm like, so I'm just like, so I remember I got my phone and I texted the Queen City people. I texted them and I was like, I'll see you next year. And I just totally like didn't think about it no more. When I was watching them play at the bowl, I thought it was incredibly awesome, man. The whole year, like while I was playing this year, I didn't think about no accolades, nothing, no recognition, not at all. I just went out there and just really go, like, win or loss. I try to make sure that I had fun at the game and I played my best that I could possibly do.
You know what's amazing, Kenneth? I didn't even know you sent that message to the Queen City account. I don't run that. Someone else runs that. And when you posted that, that was just like a sign that you deserved to be in this game. And I'll tell you, you earned it, man. You absolutely earned it. Now, I told you back from the scrimmage, early in the season, I was impressed with you. You played hard. You played to the echo of the whistle. And you flat out earned it, man. And I just want to say publicly, congratulations. And
thank you, sir.
I think your story's amazing. And, I really believe your best football is ahead of you also. So,
yes, sir.
I'm really excited to see you in about a month, man.
Yes, sir. Likewise, sir.
Absolutely. Kenneth, man, is there anything else you want to say? You want to shout at any teammates or anything while you got this platform?
Everything I want to say is just like anybody that don't recruit me or anybody that look at me and be like, hey, he's just 6 foot, or hey, he's not the tall 6'5" guy. I promise you, I'm gonna make you regret that you never took me. But at the same time, I'm here to play football. Like my name, see Kenneth Aduba. That's a lot of people are gonna know who that name is. I don't know how, I don't know where or what I'm gonna do, but I know they're gonna know who I am. And at the same time, I want y'all to know, like, don't sleep on Forsby. Like, I know we didn't have a pretty good year, like people thought we would this year. And I know a lot of people, when we came to the season this year, everybody was like, oh, they don't got Kamari, they don't got Jacob, they don't have JD, they don't have all of these people. But that don't mean it doesn't really mean anything like that to Orlando, because we have some real good boys that still at Forest. We have Noah Comer, we have Jackson Hill that's throwing the ball, and we have this little gem, Mr. Matt. His name is Christian Holland.
Oh, I know.
Christian Holland. He's a sophomore.
Oh yeah.
Is that dude? Don't tell him I said this, but he might be coming from Moline spot. He might be coming from one
He
new
might-
spot. One of the best
He
running back.
might
I
see
think.
it now, Kenneth.
Yeah, I know. But if you see it now, I just be
Well-
like I ain't say it. Yeah.
Well, Kenneth, man, we appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much. And
Yes, sir.
once again, congratulations for being in the bowl game.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. That was really cool, man. Kenneth Odugba from Forest View making the Queen City Senior Bowl. Joe Hughes weighing in on Christian Holland. Definitely on the radar. There you go. Joe is on it, man. He is the man in Gaston and Cleveland counties, man. He is on it. Good stuff. All right. Let me bring the guys back real quick. We got about 5 minutes, and we'll talk about Queen City Senior Bowl, and I'm going to put the rosters up. I need to switch my thing here, and I want to get you guys real quick thoughts on the rosters here. If I can get those on the screen. There we go. All right, we're going to start with the East. Can y'all see that, or do I need to make it bigger?
Nah. I mean, I can say it's white.
Okay. Uh-oh. This is what I don't use Microsoft Edge very often, so there we go. All right.
Never even heard of that.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It defaults. It's terrible. But anyway, thoughts on the East roster here on these first couple guys. Any thoughts on these guys right here?
Well, I mean, you got Damir, who's had an incredible
Go ahead.
at Cox Mill, leading that team into the second round of the playoffs. Obviously, and I'll just stick with the Cabarrus County kids. Cord, who is one of the top running backs for a long ways away. I mean, the kid is extremely gifted. He's been gifted for a couple of years. He's been on the scene. Jack Branham at offensive line, Elijah Greer. Those are two big old jokers out of Northwest and West Cabarrus. Justin Long is a long kid. Kendall Harris, Adriel Miller, Kobe Watts Williams. I mean, these are all studs, man. Jack Schultz, who played at Cannon School, who was huge for the A.L. Brown Wonders this year. I mean, those dudes can all play. I mean, coming to Cabarrus County seniors, those are the top of the top. And, of course, you get to my guy, TD, man. TD Moose, all he does is score. That's it. That dude's a stud.
Yeah, the East squad, won big last year, 41-17. A couple of guys, of course, Sean Boyle has now committed to West Virginia at quarterback. I thought Wisdom Holmes had an awesome season. He was one that was a unanimous choice.
Coach
I got told by several people that
one of the last things that Coach Giddens talked about on this earth was how special Wisdom Holmes was to both you and me separately, Pep.
Amen. Absolutely. Dominic Kelly from Cuthbertson, watching his film, I didn't know he was that nasty.
Buddy, he is big and mean,
oh my goodness,
filthy. He's your offensive lineman that you want.
Yes,
Sean McFarland, of course, HBCU Showcase, top 5. I think he's been a top 5 at all of the CFI camps. The most technical offensive lineman I've watched in a long time. Jalen Springs, holy cow. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of talent here. Zymil Patterson from Washington's a dynamic playmaker. Ashan Abdul-Ali coming off the edge.
Got to see him last week against Big Shelby. Stephen Z from Porter Ridge.
Oh, yeah.
That dude is like a third-year college player, man. That's what he looks like. That dude looks like he's been in collegiate for a long time. Dude, that dude's dad had him doing push-ups when he was like 6. Every time he forgot to do something, give me 150 push-ups, boy. He did them.
Well, you will hear a lot more about a lot of these guys as the weeks go on, and especially the week of the game. All right, real quick, let's go to the West, and I'll make this bigger.
The West side, the best side, baby.
Well, I knew Big Shelby, you were waiting on that. So
I mean, the West Side has some pretty hot graphics coming out, man, for their.
Just look at Just look at the schools that the West Side has, man. Just look at it. Like I don't know if you could. I mean, it could have been a better team, but I mean, this is as best as it's gonna get, man. I mean, just look at it, man. You got Dalen Lee, best quarterback in the state from Shelby. You got Carmelo Best from Ashbrook. Man, you got Sir Stovall, East Gaston. You got look at this old lineman, Isaiah Eskers from Kings Mountain, the Providence Day guys.
Boy,
You got Nesbitt. Oh my God, you got Nesbitt and Walker.
don't
South
skip
Mac and Chambers.
though.
You got Raheem Maxwell, North Mac.
Oh, Big Ola. Oh boy.
Yeah, maybe.
Sean, the speedster
Hey,
Walker.
then you got the Providence Day receiver. I mean, you got LJ Allen from Burns. I mean, then you got the real thing is what's going to set it off. You got Jackson Bass,
Who can block
Pettis,
Jackson
AJ
Bass?
Richardson
That's
on the
what I
same
wanna know.
defensive
Who can
line.
block?
Who's going to block those guys, man?
And the dude
Who's going to block those guys in the bowl game?
I was
I
trying to
don't
get a Douglas. Man, I'm sorry, I butchered your name. When I watched that dude's film, holy cow! Ashton Miller, AJ.
Like, let's be real. Who's going to block those guys, Pep?
When I was putting that D line together, we were putting together on the roster, I said, good gracious.
Each quarterback's better break the
Like, who's going to block
I
them?
was just like, my goodness, this is crazy. That's the thing I'm excited about, the O-line, D-line battle.
Then you got Elijah Hayes and Jordan Thompson, linebackers.
Pettis too? What? TJ? What? Man. McGill? What are you talking
Like,
about?
who's going to block those guys, and who's going to outrun Elijah Hayes and Jordan Thompson?
What bowl game has better talent anywhere than the Queen City Bowl right here?
I tell you, this year was the hardest in terms of putting the roster together, and then just seeing it come together was just like, my goodness.
And how many
Do you see?
There have to be 50 schools represented in totality. How many schools are there represented?
51.
51.
51.
The job
Hey, Pep.
that you guys
Pep,
did.
man.
Go ahead.
Like, then we have a Weber on the roster from Crest. I mean,
Well, you know
it's
he's
automatic
good.
W when you got a Weber on your team.
No, he's good. How does a
No, he's
Weber
gonna be ready, man. You got TJ McGill plays like he's Sean Taylor filling alleys and stuff,
Boy,
man.
He is
Like,
Sean Taylor.
look at this
He
back
is
end.
Sean Taylor.
Mm-mm.
Then you got Will Ross from South Point that's going to Wake Forest, man. We got look, the linebacker core is TJ Griffin, Elijah Hayes, Jordan Thompson. Like, there's no way. I will be surprised if the East Side even scores, man.
Dang. Like that? Like that?
I'm gonna be surprised, man. Because who's gonna block them? Who's gonna block them? Who's gonna block them? Who's gonna get past those linebackers? And who's gonna run past them DBs?
I got faith in my Cabarrus County boys.
I don't know what the sack record is. I don't know what the sack record is for the Senior Bowl, but something's gonna be set on that day.
I mean, it's only the third year. Come on now, Webb. Sean McFarland. That's who's going to block.
I'm calling now. West Side probably get 10, 12 sacks, man.
Woo! Okay. I'm about to cut this video up, man. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff being said here.
You heard it here first, man. West by 30. West Side by 30.
Wow.
About 30.
West Side by 30.
What's your record in pick'ems this year? That's
Well-
fun, though.
West Side by 30, baby.
Dang.
You started something.
Hey, Papa Bad. Hey, Papa Bad, it's going to be halftime, Papa Bad. We're going to be in the parking lot eating fish sandwiches and chicken wings, man.
That's what you do anyways. What game have you not texted us in the first quarter of?
Oh man, family
Look at
business.
that defense.
Family business.
It's crazy, man. That defense is crazy, man.
Mm-mm-mm.
I mean,
Well, yeah, it's an impressive group on both sides for sure, man.
there is no
All
other
right.
whole game that can touch
Go
that.
ahead.
None. Zero. Zilch.
I personally, I don't think
That
so.
roster
We'll
better than the
see.
Shrine Bowl, man.
Yeah. Because they don't have to. Well, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, let's leave that.
Great job, Queen
All right.
City, on picking the team. Great job.
Shout out to my
Great
media
job,
members
man.
that helped out with that as well. All right, we got another CFI member joining the NWO show tonight.
Ooh.
What's going on?
All
Glad to
black
be here.
over too.
Randy
Wow.
Savage, is that any shades of Randy Savage?
Perhaps you might be on to something. Your hunch might serve you correctly. I know I got
The
here.
Macho Man. Was the Macho Man in NWO?
No.
Come on, man. Yes, go to.
Macho Man was?
Yes,
What?
100%.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Come on, man.
Wow.
Early on, like 97, man.
With Kevin Nash,
Yes,
Hulk
100%.
Hogan,
Mm-hmm.
Scott
Guaranteed.
Hall.
Yep, because he would come. He would have the black with the black and white
He
tassels on it.
was. He
Yeah.
was. He. God.
Hey,
Oh,
hang on.
man.
Deep wrestling knowledge. Wow.
Savage, this is what we're used to Joe being on for, but you are bringing it tonight.
Yeah, man.
Marcus Bell with a good point. I
He's
remember Disco Inferno was in the NWO.
Listen,
Disco
There's
Inferno,
That is a true statement.
it's a very long list. But yeah, I got here just in time to hear West Side by 30.
Oh,
So
gosh.
that was I'm intrigued by that prediction there.
All right,
Eric
let's
Bischoff. I don't have enough hair to be Eric Bischoff.
Who's Eric Bishop? Well, I got a name for you. I can't say it publicly. We'll talk about that after the show. I got who Eric Bischoff is. All right. Anyway, we got another guest, guys,
Here he is. Look at
and
that.
that is the return of guest host Coach Johnson.
Oh, my man.
What's up, gentlemen? How we doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good to see
The
everybody.
greatest beard in Charlotte Metro.
Right. I can't mess with him, man. I cannot mess with I need some tips.
I tried, but I got ordered to trim mine.
I'll go ahead and say it, Pep. Billups is Eric Bischoff. Let's just go ahead and put that out there.
I like it. I like it.
Oh, man.
Oh man, that's pretty accurate. All right.
It is. It
All
really
right,
is.
let's get back to business. All right, let's get on. Let's go to our game previews. We're not doing any rankings this week. We're gonna do our final rankings at the end of the season. So we'll hold tight on that. Let's see here. I gotta get my slideshow up. Where is it? Technical issues. Bear with us. We're like WCW at the end. We ain't paying our bills. All right. If you were a true wrestling fan, you would have got that. All right, here we go. All right, so first of all, we got to talk about the private school playoffs. And we got some good games coming up in the second round of the NCISAA. And we got Christ School. Now, this game is going to be played on Saturday. Christ School is going to be at Providence Day. Charlotte Christian going down to Georgia to take on Raven Gap. And then in Division II, our buddies at Hickory Grove were upset last week by High Point Christian. So High Point Christian is going to Asheville School, and then Trinity Christian is going to Covenant Day, and that game will be played at Matthews Sportsplex. So first game, Christ School and Providence Day. Providence Day won big over Country Day last week. Was very impressive, getting that done. Does Christ School have a chance here? It's being played on Saturday, so that's definitely going to be an advantage for Providence Day, playing on turf in drier conditions for sure.
Christ School always.
Well, I think there are playoff times. Anything can happen.
I mean, Christ School, they recruit. They have players from all over the country that comes to Asheville. They're a boarding school. All those dudes do is sit around, play football, and go to the cafeteria and eat. Like, that is a good football program. But Providence Day, they're pretty special too.
Well, this is a rematch from earlier in the season, and Providence Day defeated Christ School 42-0. So Question is, can they make up 42 points in a couple
No.
of weeks? Because they played on September 23rd.
No.
No. All right. Next game.
Hey, but you never know, man. Hey, with playoff football, you just never know what'll happen, though, man. You gotta always expect the unexpected, man. You can't come out and take nobody lightly just because you blew them out last time.
Pep, I was able to see Christ School quarterback Trey Money's highlight, 6'2", 210, very big dual threat quarterback. I was impressed with him. I just wanted to shout him out there. I think he's an impressive athlete.
That's a good call, Coach. He actually came to one of our camps, and he won the longest throw competition. So he's a heck of an athlete, like you said, strong arm. Really good kid, too. Really good kid. Wishing the best of luck. That Providence Day train, they're on a mission. And everyone is playing well right now. They had a balanced attack last week, and one of the Pet Man players you'll hear later on is Jordan Shipp. He had 3 touchdowns in their win over Country Day last week. Now, this next game is going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see this one. Christian going to Raven Gap. This is a rematch from earlier in the season. Christian went to Raven Gap before and lost 24-10. And if you remember, we had a couple of Charlotte Christian fans on here kind of commenting on the Facebook feed that they felt like they didn't, they shouldn't have lost that game. And they got some, bad breaks from the officials. So one of the things that they're going to have to do against Raven Gap is slow down their running attack. That is one thing that Raven Gap will do over and over and over again. Second thing is they got to find some ways to score in the second half. They were shut out in the second half after scoring their 10 points in the first half. So a couple big things right there. Getting Karan Jones into space, who is now getting offers from everyone, including Georgia, as he committed to NC State, but he's getting some big time offers now. And it'll be interesting to see if he hangs with State or he, takes something else. But you guys got any other thoughts on this? I think it's a pretty good game right here. Some stats from that first matchup. Estep threw for 140 yards. Jones only had 8 carries for 42 yards, so I think he's going to have to touch the ball a little bit more. They did spread the ball around with the receiving. Like, they had 6 different guys have receiving catches in that game. Raven Gap ran for 205 yards. That number's going to have to definitely come down for sure. They were pretty balanced, though. They threw it 19 times, and they rushed it for 30 times. So a little more balance in that Raven Gap offense overall. So it's going to be a really good game. Noah Klassen for Raven Gap had 16 tackles. That stands out. On the other side, Cross Killen, 15 tackles. Bryce Young, 13 tackles for Charlotte Christian. So those guys playing well defensively as well. And in our last 2 games in the Division II playoffs, Asheville School, we've talked about them a lot, right, Kenneth, with some guys performing on the offensive side of football.
Yeah, Asheville School's got the big receiver that's coming to the Winter Showcase in December. He's got a great film. He can go over the top and catch it. Asheville School is number 1 for a reason. That said, I haven't seen High Point Christian at all, so I'll leave them alone, Pep.
Well, I'll tell you, High Point Christian beat Hickory Grove, so they're going to be someone to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
That's true.
And then we know about Covenant Day because Covenant Day is having a great season, 7-3, knocking off some teams to kind of take that next step, and now they've got a chance to go after a championship. And they feel confident over there. Their coach posted a video wanting everybody to come out to the game and support their team, and he felt like it. And he said it on video. If they stay healthy, they got a good shot at a state championship. So I like the confidence. With them, going against a Trinity Christian team, for Covenant Day, they got a couple guys that you got to worry about. Dane Steele, the big offensive lineman, who's also a short yardage goal line running back. He's got like 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. It's just incredible, man. And then they've got a repeat Petman player who has been a player for like 8 weeks throughout the season, and Alex Kulovatos. And he does a lot of different things for those guys on the offensive and defensive side of football. Plays receiver and free safety for those guys. So those are some guys you need to look for in that game as well. All right, let's jump over to our round 2 public school previews. That looks like a lot, but we're going to be brief on most of these. So, all right, let's come down the line. Of course, the first one, Catholic at Grimsley, is a 1-17 matchup. Grimsley, the number 1 seed in the 4A West, and Catholic, of course, coming off the big win at Reagan on the road last week, putting up 48 points on that Reagan team on the road. And any thoughts on this first round matchup? I think it's a great game for sure.
I think that game can go either way. You got 2 programs that have championship pedigree. It's an early matchup, so I'm sure both schools are typically they may be advancing early rounds and probably get like a lesser opponent in the second round. But both teams have to come out and play hard. I think Grimsley is catching a lot of slack. A lot of people don't feel like they should have been the number 1 seed, so I think they're gonna try to come out and try to dominate Catholic. And Catholic having a year unlike no other as far as losses go. Normally they probably lose 1, maybe 2 games a year. And so now they have a 17 seed. So I think they want to come out and just still show people that they're dominant.
Absolutely. Now, we got a comment here from Markel Riley that says Catholic by 4 touchdowns. Let's be serious. I think we got to show Grimsley a little more respect than that. They're an undefeated team. They got a lot of talent. Yeah, they got a lot of talent. We saw Grimsley up close. What was that? The COVID year. We went up there and saw them against Butler.
Yep, that's true. I think Travis Shaw was still there then.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a big crowd. Now you look at Grimsley's schedule. The one thing that is a little interesting is they gave up 37 points to Davie. I know they scored 69, but that was a little surprising getting a shootout like that in the first round as a number 1 overall seed. So, and Page played them close. They lost by 5, and we saw what Independence did to Page. So we start looking at that. Common opponents. A lot of people across the state like Charlotte Catholic, but this will be a good test for the Catholic defense to see how far they have come. I think they've made a lot of good progress, but this is a good test for them, at this point in the season, of course. Let me bring on a guy that's been sitting backstage. I just now saw him. Joe Hughes.
Good evening. How's everyone?
Good.
Joe Shiesty.
Joe, I'm disappointed you did not join in our NWO theme.
Hey, I'm just doing my Birdman hand rub, man. That's what I'm doing right now. That's right down my alley, man. That's right down my alley. You know how I get down with the wrestling, though, man. NWO for life.
All right, let's go to our next game. And this is a big one. This is one a lot of people have, at least I was very excited to see when the brackets came out. And now it's here. And that is Olympic, undefeated, 11-0, going on the road to take on Independence at 10-1. This game is going to be played on Thursday. We know that for sure. And then, we'll talk about weather in general, throughout these games. But you got to think weather doesn't really affect either one of these teams. They're both pretty balanced in their spread offenses, respectively. So I think they'll be okay when the rain does start. When you start thinking about this one, a lot of people are saying this is Olympics' first test outside of Ardrey Kell, of course. 21-14 over TC Roberson gave some people some pause, when they were talking about it last week. Independence went out and dominated Page, winning by a big margin. I don't remember the exact score, but it was a big margin there. Independence, Justin Little, you'll see on Petman's players. He had a huge game throwing the football last week, over 300 yards in the air. Definitely a big time performance for him to get his feet wet in the playoffs for the first time. Olympic with the dynamic duo at running back, both sophomores, and then of course the senior quarterback Elijah Holmes having a great season. A couple, big time players in this game that are going to have to play well for their respective teams to win. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
I'll go, Pep. I mean, first thing I want to give a shout out to Coach Thompson, man. What a fantastic job he's done at the Olympic. You can't say that enough. I mean, he has changed that program completely. As far as Olympic, I think the key probably is Holmes and Green. Can they establish that connection? I saw firsthand what a great job Coach Rankin does with that Indy defense. That defense is huge in the middle. Those two tackles, that Mike linebacker, those two safeties. That is a momentous task to try to move through the middle of that Indy defense.
Very good point. Very good point, man. Let's see. Markel Riley saying 40-21 Independence just based off Olympic strength of schedule. Well, I mean, I can see why you say that, but the thing about it is, because of the strength of schedule, do we know how good Olympic is? That's kind of the $1 million question here. Anyone else got some thoughts here? Well, I'll just say this. I'm very excited to see the matchup, and I also know that Zayflix is going to be there. So whenever Zayflix is there, you got to play your best for those big-time highlights. That's for sure.
I think it's nice to see both schools back to relevancy. Independence obviously was on top for a long time. Just had some rebuilding years and now back, second round, and Olympic, same thing. It's just good to see them back in the mix in the second round.
I totally agree. And I hope both teams' fan bases really get behind them, including the alumni for both schools. I know Coach DJ at Independence made a post really imploring, the fans to come out. But we know how it is with rain in Charlotte. It kills everything. And, hopefully they're able to create that atmosphere because both of those programs really deserve it, man. They really do. All right, rematch. Another one. Mallard Creek at Huff. Of course, this was a big game we talked about a few weeks ago. Mallard Creek winning that game 13-9 on the strength of 2 defensive touchdowns, pick sixes by their defense. Last week Mallard Creek was able to get by Audrey Kell. A lot of commentary about that game was a lot of penalties, kind of ugly at times, but they were able to get it done. Huff kind of cruised last week in the playoffs, and now they're here at round 2. The one thing that, we always talk about in these matchups, and we've seen it throughout, it seems like it's always the Queen City Conference that has these, kind of rematches. The rematches are always very different from the first game that was played. So we had a defensive slugfest the first time. Can the offenses get it going here in the rematch? Is my big question. Can it do anything at all?
Pep, I said that last week. I saw that Huff defense up close and personal, unfortunately. Brendan Palmer, Nesta, number 2, the outside linebacker, defensive end. Those dudes are both long, and they do such a good job from the football standpoint of constricting C and D gap. Matthews, the corner, number 9. What a football player. He looked like a grown man. He's a freshman. Colleges should go out and offer that young man. I've seen some special players up close before, but he is up near the top of the list. What a football player.
Totally agree on Matthews, man. He is special. He is special. And that's why he's getting all the offers and attention that he's getting already as a freshman, and it's, more than deserved, man. With Mallard Creek, the big thing with them is, settling the quarterback spot. It looks like Trey Robinson is going to be the guy going forward. They do a lot of nice stuff with the misdirection run game and things like that. But we know Huff, the speed on their defense is just incredible. It's gonna be a tough game on both sides because Mallory matches their speed on defense as well. Man, I think we're gonna see another low scoring football game. I really do. And that's what Next Gen says the same thing.
I think you're right, Pat.
Yeah.
This is going to be a game of whoever makes the fewest mistakes. And it might just be the one mistake. It might be a badly thrown ball. It might be not tugging a football on a run. It may be offsides. It may be a penalty. This game is going to come down to discipline. And the team who's the most disciplined, who doesn't make those just boneheaded mistakes, is going to be the victorious team because these are two extremely talented football teams with great coaching staffs.
Absolutely. D. Sosa says a different game with Markel Quick playing this game. And we know he's a
You don't want to kick to him.
That's yeah. that's definitely the case. All right. Cox Mill going on the road to take on Weddington. Cox Mill had the big win over Lake Norman last week in the first round, and then Weddington in that critical rematch against Marvin Ridge was able to get it done. I believe that score was 29-19. Obviously, you think about Cox Mill, you think about the offensive ability to make big plays down the football field. Weddington, while earlier in the season they had some issues on defense, they seem to kind of clean those issues up now. They're playing more, traditional Weddington football that we've come to know and love over the years. Just looking at their scores, Marvin Ridge scored 21 and 19, respectively, and of course they know each other inside and out. Other than that, they've played, pretty good defensively, and offensively they've been really impressive. Tyler Budget, quarterback. Griffin Reimer is back from an injury he suffered earlier in the season. We talked about Zymiel Patterson earlier. And then, who was the other guy that I wanted to highlight here? The cornerback, Sam Neely, number 14, is a good player on the back end as well for those guys. And then, of course, with Cox Mill, we talk about these guys. We know these guys. Dymere Edwards at quarterback spot. Cord at running back, Kendall Harris on the outside along with Saxon Jenkins, and then Ivy, who's really starting to come into his own, got an offer from Virginia. I'm really excited, to see these guys go toe to toe, and it has the potential to be a high scoring game. What do you guys think?
You got an up and coming football team in Cox Mill, man. These guys who feel like they were disrespected just a few months ago, who have really hit the ground. I mean, they've really hit their stride. They're playing lights out, especially offensively. I imagine their defense probably gets tired of hearing the offense talk so much about going to one of the most powerful programs in North Carolina the last 6 years. I mean, Weddington won a lot of state championships at the 3A level. You said it, Pep. They had some struggles early on in the year, but they've really seemed to be coming into it. Weddington is just, their football IQ is through the roof. I can talk about my personal experiences going there, but just say they are coached extremely well. They do things the right way. Cox Mill is going to go into an environment against a team that expects to win. Weddington expects to win every single game. I think this is going to be a great game. I think Cox Mill is going to be fired up. Coach Baker is going to have his guys ready. But Coach Capone is going to have his guys ready as well. And once again, two great coaching staffs going at it, man. This will be a great football game.
Yeah.
You make a good point. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I'm expecting exactly the opposite of the game above it. Mallard Creek and Huff defensive. I feel like this one will turn into a shootout. So exactly the opposite.
Yeah, good points, man. The big thing is someone really, really intelligent told me that Weddington just doesn't lose at home. It's really, really hard to go in there and win.
I know from experience.
I think Chambers in the playoffs was the last team to beat them at home, and we were there for that.
Mhm.
Producer. Excuse me, Mr. Savage. And it'll be a lot of fun to watch. I know that much. All right, Chambers at AC Reynolds. This is a very interesting game here. Big Shelby, I know you got some experience with AC Reynolds. What can Chambers expect from those guys?
Just for knowing AC Reynolds and the community and their coaching staff, the pregame antics won't scare them. They're going to be ready for it. They already been talking about it. They're going to be ready. I don't think AC Reynolds, the only team AC Reynolds has played with speed, kind of like Chambers, was Raven Gap. Raven Gap guys. But I'm saying something's close. Something is close to it. I don't think it's going to look anything like what Chambers has.
It's like
Chambers
saying
can hit you in multiple ways.
Webb was playing quarterback, and we're getting ready to go against Michael Vick. Nah, they ain't seen that speed.
Yeah. It's like one of those. With Reynolds, though. I think they want this moment. Obviously, Chambers has been here. They played in bigger environments, played in a lot of big games. Those seniors for the seniors. This is just another game for those guys. AC Reynolds, I think they're happy to be here. They're a big senior-led team, so it's always scary. It's always a good game going against a team that's senior-led. And they have an offense. The offense is really run heavy. I think if the weather comes into factor, it still may favor Chambers because Chambers has multiple running backs they run versus AC Reynolds just has that one guy. So, I think it's gonna be a good game. I think if I'm Chambers, you still just need to be a little careful because don't think that AC is just gonna lay down. Now I don't know who will win that game. I haven't really made my decision on who I'm going with yet, but I think that's gonna be. It could be a very exciting game.
That's good stuff right there, man. And like you said, this game is right now still scheduled for Friday. It's the last thing I saw. So they'll be playing in rainy. But AC Reynolds is turf, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. I think all the Asheville schools.
Yeah, AC got turf.
Okay, so that helps a little bit at least.
You have a beautiful view of the mountain too.
It's always good. It's always good, man. To your point, though, the competition for AC Reynolds, who have they seen similar? And like you said, Raven Gap's the best team that they played on the schedule thus far, and they lost that game by 9.
With their schedule, they haven't seen a team. They haven't seen a team like Chambers. The only team that kind of similar would be Shelby or Raven Gap, but it's still not what Chambers is going to put on the field Friday. It's going to look totally different.
Right. So I think the key for AC Reynolds is they got to start well. They can't get down 14-0 or something like that, and then it forces them to come out of their game plan, which of course we know is to run the talented sophomore Max Guest and control possession and control the clock. And they can't give up the big plays over the top either. Even though it's raining, the offense still has an advantage because they know where they're going. Defensively, you still have to react to what they're doing. So they can't give up big plays in space, and they got to be able to, effectively run the football right at Chambers because he can't go side to side against them. We know that. Markel Riley getting the commenter of the show so far. Big Shelby's not going to be able to see the mountain during the monsoon. So,
no.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you probably won't be able to, but.
Oh, man. All right. Chat administrator, get all your notes ready because it's your time. Butler is going on the road to take on Mooresville. And this game has never happened before. Butler has never played Mooresville before. So it's an interesting matchup. Mooresville, the 2 seed. Butler, the 15 seed. Butler getting here, of course, after knocking off Hickory Ridge last week, 28-21. And then Mooresville putting up, I believe it was 49 on Southwest Guilford last week and winning that game big. So I'll let you guys talk first. What are your thoughts here?
Pep, I'll go. I saw them both in person. My matchup watch is the Mooresville offense against that Butler defense. Coach Stone does a really good job. Can Mooresville be balanced? They have a great big running back in is it Howell? I'm gonna say his name wrong. Great running back, but to me that's kind of the key. Can Mooresville be balanced? Can they put that thing in the air and be certainly got the receivers and dual threat quarterback, but you got to be multidimensional against that Butler defense.
Yeah, Pep, can I just say, because we haven't brought his name up, but he's been at Mooresville, and he's a big reason for Mooresville's success. To my defensive coordinators is Mooresville's defensive coordinator, DeVore Holman, one of the top defensive-minded coaches in the state of North Carolina. He was the head coach at Davie County for a long time, one of the greatest dudes in the state of North Carolina. He has those dudes rolling. You mentioned Coach Stone. And what a great job he does with his defense and in the weight room as well. But you also have a young coach at Mooresville, Coach Mayo, Zach Mayo, in the weight room there as well. And when you look at both of these teams, when they get off the bus, both of these teams look the part. These guys have worked extremely hard, and they've got the athleticism and talent to go along with it. Man, another incredible game to watch.
Great points, Coach and Engine. That's really good stuff, man. This game is still on Friday, right, Chat Administrator? I think that's a definite now, that they're definitely playing on Friday. So here we go. Thank you. Right on time. Mooresville does have turf. Both of these teams, can run the ball. Of course, Mooresville probably known for it more with Howell, being the bell cow that he is. A Queen City Senior Bowl selection also. But you're right. The coaching on both sides is one thing that we haven't talked enough about this season. Both of these staffs doing a great job all year long. When you get a game like this, I feel like these guys are really evenly matched. And when you got evenly matched teams, like you said earlier, Kenneth, turnovers, mistakes, special teams making a big difference. We've seen Mooresville's kicker make a game-winning field goal against Lake Norman. Kicking game is going to be big, especially in these kind of elements. Ball security, things you always talk about if you're, an offensive coordinator or, someone of that ilk, coaching a skill position, especially in wet conditions. Those things are going to make a big difference here. I think it's going to be a big crowd. I don't think the Mooresville people at the Pop are going to care about the rain. So it should be a good environment. And it's on our short list. Producer, I didn't tell you that, but this is on our short list.
I'm fine with it. I think it's a great matchup, great option. Like I might have mentioned earlier, from what I've been looking at lately, I've been checking it all throughout the week. It seems like Thursday weather might actually be worse than Friday. I know people were thinking, the Friday weather was but it seemed like it's going to be raining a lot on Thursday night and Friday during the day. So, just throwing that out there.
It's going to be ugly regardless.
Okay.
That too.
It's just going to be nasty. I'm not looking forward to that part.
I'm just going to try to get the stadiums that will allow me to have an umbrella on the sideline. That's what I'm trying to get to. And that's my big concern. Because I'm not just going to be – why are you laughing? Big Shelby, I know you're going to be coaching. But I'm just saying, we got to protect this equipment now.
No, I'm laughing because I can't believe high school people – it's just funny that people gonna say, "Hey, you can't bring an umbrella like it ain't pouring down raining out there."
Hey,
yeah, man, I've seen that. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, like at Gaffney High School in South Carolina, they don't allow umbrellas into the reservation. They just don't. And there are other stadiums that are much the same way. So it's a weird phenomenon, but it's not uncommon.
Yeah, so that's going to be a big determining factor for me, at least.
Seems like you'd be okay
I've
on
seen
the
a couple
sideline.
schools.
You're not blocking anyone's view. I get it in the crowd. You think, okay, if you have a bunch of umbrellas, people can't see. But on the sideline, you think it would be okay. But there's weird rules out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. Let's see. We got some comments going over here. Markel Riley talking about haven't been able to watch one of these properly because I've been working religiously. Well, welcome, man. Comment away. Say everything you want, man. Get it all out tonight. Let's see. Big Shelby, you got a shout out here from Joshua Gash. I know Josh. What's up, man?
What's up, my guy, man? Can't. What's up, my boy Josh Gash?
Hey, his son Jaden is one of the up and coming guys. Keep on the
Never
lookout for
knew
him for
that
the
was
next 2
Webb's
years.
first name.
Yeah,
I always thought it was Big Shelby Webb.
Thought his ID said Big Shelby on it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Mama gave him.
All right, Jason Bass got a question for you, Engine. Are you still coming up the mountain?
I will say this. I've always said you want to go up the mountain for playoff football. I'll leave it at that. But he still has to hit me up. I told him he swings by the house and picks me up. I ain't driving Nashville. And he told me he had some metal cord going, so I'm ready for that too.
Man, just get a seat on that Chambers charter bus, man.
They take the charter buses up there?
I mean, they got to be, right? They can't be taking the activity bus to Asheville.
It's like 3 hours from them. It's like 3 hours from Charlotte.
Big money. I went up the mountain.
Well, we took a charter bus.
We beat up a team up the mountain who was 10-0 in the first round of the playoffs. And we're coming home, right? We're all celebrating the greatest win in the school's history. And we get a mile and a half from the school, and the bus breaks down. They can't come out there before Saturday afternoon to check it out. So we loaded up over 120 people on a single luxury coach. Kids were in the middle of the way coming home for a 2-hour trip home. On the way home.
Wow.
Yeah, we took two charter buses up to Forest Hills last week, man.
Of course, you got Coach Mizzle looking at us, and he's like, man, they take charter buses to their scrimmages for basketball at Mooresville. That's how they roll. It's Christian Tours, man. You get middle school, rolled up for middle school girls tennis on a luxury coach.
All right, so let's speed it up here on these last games here. All right, Smoky Mountain at Kings Mountain. We know a little bit about Smoky Mountain. The quarterback's coming to the showcase.
Go to the next game. Kings Mountain by 50. Go to the next game.
Wow.
All right. High Brighton is taking on West Charlotte. And this game is going to be played at West Meck High School, which is a smart call because West Meck has turf. Lauderdale does not, where West Charlotte normally plays. Both of these teams are 6-5 in the second round. This is going to be a pick'em game. West Charlotte, we know, coming off another win over Stuart Kramer in the playoffs, second year in a row. And High Brighton, obviously defeating their first round opponent. Key guys, of course, for West Charlotte, you think about Jaden Smith, you think about Caleb Behringer, you think about Keemon Fleming, you think about Darian Rivers on the offensive line. Definitely some guys that are going to have to be playing well to get it done for West Charlotte to get past the second round, which I think they got a good shot. And waiting for them will be the winner of Smoky Mountain and Kings Mountain. And that'll be another possible interesting rematch as Kings Mountain and West Charlotte played in the second round last year, and we know Kings Mountain won that game. So there you go. And chat administrator says it's going to be Smoked Mountain after that one. All right, well, there you go. Thank you, chat administrator. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we had
all right.
We had a chance to play High Brighton this year. We played High Brighton this year, Shelby.
What were your thoughts?
He didn't have any. That game was over once they kicked off.
But we played against High Brighton. We played against High Brighton this year. Shelby, they have a real good, talented quarterback that pretty much leads their team. I'll be very interested to see if they called up their JV receiver that they had. That's about 6'2", 6'3". That's real good. So I wonder if they're going to let him play in this game. But, I know West Charlotte just has to play discipline against High Brighton with that triple option. So.
I do know Sam Grounder knows how to stop a triple option. I saw that firsthand, second round of the playoffs at Harding. He played Porter Ridge when, interestingly enough, Grayson McCall was the quarterback. And they shut that triple option down. So I'm sure they'll have a good game plan ready to go for that one.
I do remember that game.
Yeah, that was a tight one. The illustrious adding in that Jaden, I mentioned Jaden Smith, Jaden the difference maker. He's an athletic, very talented linebacker coming off the edge.
Brandon Bischoff.
Really good. All right, next game before we get sidetracked again. Ledford is at I believe they're 10-1 on the season, taking on Northwest Cabarrus, who was 10-1 as well. We were at Northwest Cabarrus last week when they defeated Ashbrook 17-3 in the first round, and Ledford, I think they won pretty big against their first round opponent. An interesting game right here. Talked to Coach Mormon after the game. He said at the time, of course, he didn't know much about Ledford, but he did say that they were a downhill kind of running football team. And we saw that they stopped the Ashbrook run game pretty good. And Ashbrook does have a pretty good run game, with that being the focal point of their offense. The thing to watch here is Northwest Cabarrus star receiver Tevin Tucker got injured against Ashbrook, and they took him off the field in a cart. And hopefully he's okay. Of course, we didn't know at the game, and we don't get injury reports, but that's a big loss for Northwest Cabarrus if he's not able to play. So I think Northwest Cabarrus have a big crowd. Now, when you're talking about field conditions, grass field. I think they're playing Thursday. I think they got moved to Thursday, so that may help a little bit. But I expect this to be an old school slobber knocker.
Northwest Cabarrus has had the worst field in Cabarrus County for a long time. It's awful.
All right, Chris is going on the road to take on Oak Grove. Last week we saw West Meck almost upset Oak Grove, losing 17-12. And Oak Grove is the number 3 overall seed in the 3A West, and Chris going up and playing them in a game that I think a lot of people like Crest, but now there's hesitation because of the weather conditions. We know Crest is spread and they love to throw it around. They got a lot of guys that can go make plays. But this game is being played Thursday, which might help them a little bit. Joe, you got any thoughts on this one? I know this is one in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, Crest defense really stepped up for him last week. Gave up only 144 yards to Statesville in a 33-7 win. Question for, as you said, is really the field conditions. Will it slow down Crest? Will it kind of negate their speed? Oak Grove's the only team to beat Ledford this year, and they're really a team that really capitalizes on other teams' mistakes. So the field conditions and the weather could actually be somewhat of an equalizer. If you ask me, I still would favor Crest, but who knows when it comes to the weather.
Absolutely. Good points there. Good points for sure. Let's see. I think we had a comment I wanted to put up on the screen here. Oh, yeah. Coach Charter, what's up, man? He has some comments for you, Kenneth, on this. 100% agree about Northwest Cabarrus Field. Used to have an orange cone. Nice. Well, we didn't see the cone last week, so that's gone now.
Thankfully.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh. Engine, you're on mute, Engine.
If it wasn't for crabgrass, Northwest Cabarrus would have no grass. It's a dome. All the water runs down. There's no track that stops it. So all the water comes down the 3/4 dome. It settles on the field. We're talking about for decades. From the hash out on either sideline was just a complete mosh pit. We're talking about by September when it's still warm outside. Just awful drainage, awful irrigation, holes everywhere. Now that the holes may have been fixed, the orange cone may have been alleviated, but horrific field.
All right, well, let's move on to a great matchup. South Point taking on Dudley. And this is a rematch of the 3A West Region Final, I believe, from last year.
Yeah.
Joe,
once again, this is in your wheelhouse, man. What do you think?
yes, South Point's been really pointing to this one basically since last December. Of course, they got shut out 38-0 in the 3A West Final. They come back this year with Cam Medlock as their feature back. Still, they're pretty much exactly the same philosophy, same everything. The question, of course, this year will be, are they big enough in the trenches to go up against Dudley, and are they fast enough? That's probably the bigger question, because we all know what Dudley brings to the table with that type of speed side to side that they bring. And also, you have to wonder if South Point goes down early, what are they thinking mentally? Can we keep up? What can we do against these guys? They beat us 38-0 last year. What can we do if they go down early?
Absolutely. The thing with Dudley is there's so many guys, they throw at you on offense that, have that speed and that athletic ability that can make plays. And that's what makes them so tough to stop. One of those guys, Jalen Hicks, number 9, running back, 6'4", 200 pounds. I watched film on him, and I started following him, and I think he's a heck of a player. Now, all of a sudden, he's starting to pick up, offers from different HBCUs. He's a senior. I think he's just kind of under the radar a little bit, and now they're starting to, notice him a little bit, and he's going to be a key player. South Point, Will Rawls is going to have to be a big-time player here. He's in the Queen City Senior Bowl, committed to Wake Forest. He's going to have to be a big key from that safety position when Dudley takes those shots over the top. And if they get through the first and second levels of the defense, he's going to have to make plays and tackle well in space to keep those first downs from going to touchdowns.
Yeah, it was sort of like the Georgia-Tennessee tape. What Georgia did defensively, what their defensive backs did in limiting what Tennessee was able to do. That's sort of the blueprint that South Point's defensive backs are going to have to employ against Dudley, because a lot of what Dudley does is yards after the catch or yards after contact. If they can limit that somewhat, make them have to drive the field, at least it gives themselves a chance.
Absolutely. Those interesting comments over there. All right, I'll talk about those. Looking at Dudley's schedule now, they have been blowing people out lately. I mean, they've lost 2 games early in the season to Southeast Guilford and Hillside out of Durham. But ever since then, they have gone on a just massive streak of just blowing people out. If South Point can get them in a 4-quarter game and make them play, that's going to be a big advantage to them, because Dudley hadn't been in the 4th quarter game since week 3. So
they didn't. That week 3 game wasn't even. That week 3 game wasn't even a full game. That one was actually.
That was the halftime game.
Yeah, because of everything going on off the field. So,
that's right. That's right. So I think that's a big key for South Point right there. If they're able to get that red bone going for first downs and just possess the ball, and make Dudley play a full 4 quarters, that they may just be able to wear him down a little bit. Let's see, where are we at here? J.M. Robinson at Chase. Engine. There you go. That's your game right there.
An incredible game, right? I mean, J.M. Robinson 10-1, Chase 11-0. This is a second round matchup, and these 2 teams have won 21 football games. And J.M. Robinson's only loss is to Independence, who we've already talked about. Incredible matchup. Talking, of course, my family is at J.M. Robinson, talking to their coaches. Chase is extremely talented. They do what they do extremely well. Obviously, they're 11-0. J.M. Robinson has to head up the mountain. Of course, there's the changes that's been made. So all the logistics that had happened for Friday quickly got changed yesterday. Luckily for Cabarrus County schools, they were out of school, and J.M. Robinson was able to take care of all that. But there's this. I mean, we talk about games. This is maybe the top 2A team or the top 2A game in the state. No offense, well, I guess Big Shelby and Burns is pretty sticking good too. But those are the top 2A games in the state, I would argue.
Yeah. And I know this is probably as far as strength of schedule go, this would be the best team Chase has seen all year. Jan Robinson has played a lot of competition, so I know they're going to be ready for the moment. This is a big game for Chase because I know I follow a lot of their fans, a lot of their community members, and they've been raving about how good they are, how good they've been the last 2 years. And this is a good test to see if all those years of hard work are really going to pay off, because Jan Robinson is no slouch, and Chase has a lot. Chase took a major blow with losing their running back that led the nation in rushing yards last year. But they haven't missed a beat without him. But this is going to be a game to see what Chase would do with a team that can match their speed and match their physicality.
Excellent points. In the back, you're talking about Marquise McCombs. Heck of a player, man. I hate to see that.
That Chase team is fast.
That
Chase team is fast. I saw them against Cherryville, of course. Playing against Cherryville, they were overmatched. But either way you looked at it, you're just sitting there like, goodness, they run side to side so well. Mm-hmm. And I'm intrigued by that game as well. If I went where I had to be at on Friday night, that would be on that short list.
And that's exactly what Robinson is talking about, right? That side-to-side speed that Chase has that is phenomenal. Maybe the top speed that they've seen, especially in the offense that Chase runs all year, because what Chase does is way different than what Independence or Cuthbertson or Mount Pleasant does.
Very good stuff, guys. Hopefully it's going to be a great game. Where is Chase? Is it Forest City?
Oh yeah, it's in Henrietta, man.
Rutherford County. That's all I know.
It's in basically Forest City. It's not in the mountains, but it's basically Forest City.
Close enough to the mountains.
Cool. I've never been there. Okay.
I mean, it's not
all right.
Mountains.
For us, it's the mountains.
You're thinking you're out of it.
All right. Engine, this is another one in your wheelhouse. Mount Pleasant going on the road to take on Maiden. I think they got a shot here.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant is playing extremely good football right now. I thought that they played their best ball the last 3 games. I saw them versus North Stanley. I saw them versus J.M. Robinson. And then last week, of course, they played lights out to go on the road and win. Now they've got to go on the road and win again to one of the state's premier historic programs in Maiden. Maiden has an incredible team as well. Coach Crosby has his kids playing hard, which they've always done. He has his kids believing. Of course, they're led by – everybody thinks of Keegan Moose on offense, but defensively they are led by so many players that just straight up get after you. They hit you. They like hitting you. They're not the most flashy. They're not the fastest, but they are going to outwork you to the ball every single time. And another great, great, great matchup.
Absolutely. Looking at Maiden's schedule this year, they had 1 loss to Watauga, but they won all their other games. But some of these games have been close. Bunker Hill was a 3-point win. They won by 10 over West Lincoln, who was also a playoff team. Won by 10 over St. Stephen's, who we saw made the playoffs, and Kings Mountain did pretty well against them. So I think it's a good matchup, and I really do. I really think Mount Pleasant, if they're able to run the ball well, with TD Moose and those guys, they got a shot here. They really do. Let's see. Terry Crawford, thanks for watching. Talking about Chase, it's in the foothills, 20 minutes from Shelby. Oh, okay.
Foothills, hills, that's all the mountains to us.
Thank you for that. Aiden Ramirez, who is a South Point defensive lineman, very good player. We were talking about them. He said between 7:30 and 9:30 is all that matters. All right, I like it. Also said they're not used to getting hit, which is what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay. Who's got the dog?
Be
Somebody
careful
beat
with
the
that.
dog, man.
My boys are riling the dog up downstairs.
Oh, my. All
And
right,
the
our
dogs-
next matchup, real.
3 dogs in my house right now.
Oh my gosh.
And one of the dogs is in heat. And my puppy, Charlie Bear, is ready to get him some. He was trying to all last night. Lady's about 10 pounds, but 8 pounds of her is a tumor. And Charlie is about 40 pounds of just hyped up 10-month-old dog.
Bunker Hill is going on the road to take on Community School in Davidson. Oh my gosh. Community School in Davidson winning 20-14 over East Gaston last week in a great first round playoff game, and then Bunker Hill was able to win their first round game as well. Of course, rain conditions. We know Community School loves to throw the football. They do have turf up there, so that'll help out a little bit with AJ Sirianni and those guys trying to get it done. Looking at Bunker Hill, I don't know much about them, but they're 10-1 on the season. And they've played, a passing attacking Stuart Kramer, and they beat them week 1, 47-35. They've played a number of close games this year. They lost to Maiden, like I said earlier. They beat East Burke by 4. They beat West Lincoln by 1 in overtime. They beat Lincolnton by 1. North Iredale by 7. So they've been in a number of close games. So I think this is, Community School of Davidson wins this game. I think this will be the deepest they've ever gone in the playoffs. Let's see. Joe, you got anything you want to add on this one?
As you see, Bunker Hill is very battle tested, and they know how to play close games, but just about everybody in that conference does as well. Lincolnton, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, they've been in six of those type of games and won 4. So, and they're going to run the football. In that Stuart Kramer football game, they ran for more than 300 yards. So, Bunker Hill's going to be a handful for Community School of Davidson, and if they're not able to throw the football or rain becomes a situation, you almost sit there and think, hey, the team that actually is the more ball control football team, you have to give them the nod.
Absolutely, that's good stuff. All right, there's a little Cleveland County rematch now. Shelby at Burns. That might be a big game. I don't know if he wants to say anything. He seems to be very deep in thought over there.
It's a great game.
All right, Joe.
Nah,
why don't you go ahead here?
Joe got it.
Yeah, he probably isn't going to like this first stat, though. The last time Shelby went winless against Cleveland County opposition was 2010. And, of course, right now they're 0-3 against the rest of the county, but this is their opportunity to get kind of all of that back all in one foul swoop, I think both teams are going to go in with the same approach that they did last game. I expect a lot more focus on the running game. I think Burns rushed for more than 250 yards against Shelby last time. A lot of that came on a third quarter drive that lasted most of the quarter. After Shelby's performance on the ground last week, I think that'll probably be more of an emphasis on that as well. The question will be whether Burns can make Shelby have to drive the length of the field and basically take advantage of the 3 downs that they have. And can Shelby be patient? Because Burns is going to try to make them do that. And also the trench warfare will also be important. I don't think Shelby's going to be scared whatsoever with what Burns brings to the table in the trenches, and I think Burns is actually going to feel the same way. So I expect a pretty low scoring football game, somewhere around 2017, 23-20.
All right. Well, we'll be ready for another Cleveland County Classic and another update from Joe in the dark on CFI After Dark. So that'll be good stuff right there. All right, real quick, Pine Lake at Salisbury. Coach Trotter's got his team in the second round. You're looking at Salisbury's schedule. After they lost week 1 to West Rowan, well, we talked about that game, and we said, oh, boy, Salisbury might be in trouble. Well, no, they're not. They haven't lost since then, and most of these games have been complete blowouts. Now, they won in the first round at home against Brevard 28-16 last week. We know Salisbury has a lot of special talent. One of those guys being a talented quarterback in Mike Jeter, who was the player of the year last year as a sophomore for that conference. They also have a guy in Deshaun Brown who, when I discovered him, I'm just looking at different things for the Winter Showcase. He is a beast coming off the edge at 6'3" and 220. Two guys that I know Coach Trotter has talked to his guys about here. Anyone's got any other thoughts on Pine Lake Salisbury?
Pep, we 7-on-7 Salisbury in the summer. Shout out to Coach Weicker, the offensive coordinator at Salisbury. He's been at it a long time. He's a good football coach. He's a good man, college level to high school level. I saw Jeter in person. I mean, long, athletic, dual threat. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing Pine Lake, but, Salisbury will be ready to play.
Absolutely. Their campus is pretty cool, man. It's like it's in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yes.
And, it's real cool to see when you go up there. I've never been to a game there, but I might want to try that one day. All right, Lincolnton at Monroe is our last game that we're going to talk about. Lincolnton last week, they felt like Joe said earlier, they've been in a number of exciting football games all year long. And last week was no different from their 37-36 road victory in overtime over Randleman. Joe, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah. And Lincolnton loves living on the edge, as we've kind of seen. As four games they've won that have been one possession football games, and playing without Kimoni Heath is going to be tough for them. However, the kid I think he broke his leg. That was the report I got. But going up against Monroe was always going to be difficult because Lincolnton's a team that needs to be ahead, and I think Monroe's more of a well-rounded football team than Lincolnton probably is at this point. So going to Monroe is already going to be tough. Playing without their top rusher is going to be even tougher.
Agreed.
I agree also.
So while we're waiting,
How does a man run a show and leave?
man's got a small bladder. While we're waiting, I've already had another collegiate head football coach confirm that he will be in attendance. His staff will be in attendance at the Winter Showcase on December the 10th at Mallard Creek High School. And there he is, Hollywood.
All right, we all good?
We think so.
All right. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Let's move on to our favorite part of the show. Predictions. And last week we had some predictions that were good and some that were not so good. So.
And one
all
guy.
Right, so last week we have a new leader in the clubhouse.
What? A leader or a tie? There's no way it's a leader.
Huh?
Oh, that's bullcrap, man. You're still counting.
Wow.
How can Wes accept that? How do I have more games than everybody else? He has less games than everybody else. That doesn't make sense, man.
The bonus, man. You lost.
Bonuses never hurt you on a test.
We have gone over this multiple times.
And I still want to protest it.
Hey.
It wasn't my either.
Nope. You made me want to.
I do not smoke, Marcus. I just had to step away from it.
I'm
I'm a very busy man. There's a lot going on over here.
He took a
There's a
shot.
lot going on
Got
over
to flush
here,
the
man.
toilet. You got to flush the toilet.
Cuervo Gold.
Hey, that Cuervo
I will
Gold is
neither
some chicken
confirm
wings.
nor
You be out
deny
there
those
doing that.
allegations. All right. Y'all ready for the predictions? We got a lot of people on. This ought to be good. Big games this week. Here we go. Round
Let's
2
go.
predictions coming down the line. High Brighton at West
Let's go.
Charlotte. I'll go first. I will take West Charlotte. Engine.
The Dub C, baby.
Big Shelby.
West Charlotte.
Producer.
West Charlotte High School.
Coach Johnson.
West Charlotte.
Hughes.
West Charlotte.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep for the Lions. I am sorry, Coach Griner. All right. J.M. Robinson at Chase. Let's go. Big Shelby. You go first on this.
J.M. Robinson.
Producer.
J.M. Robinson.
Coach Johnson.
Tough one. J.M. Robinson.
Joe.
Ugh. Let me go out on the limb. I'll take Chase.
I'll go on the limb with you. I'll take Chase. Engine.
We also know your record in picking games. Pet man, you know I'm going with my brother, man. J.M. Robinson.
You know, I'm just trying to save them from the curse. That's all I'm
You ever
trying.
notice when you ask Webb, if I haven't
Right.
gone yet, Webb is like, what would Kenneth do? Who would Kenneth pick? He ain't never picked opposite.
Sound like
games.
from the first two picks, everybody just trying to follow me because I went 7-0. Have your own plan. Have your own mind made up.
Mute him. Mute him, please.
Man, you're looking at Max Preps right now.
Hey,
Doing-
my phone's
doing
right here,
research.
buddy. My
Hey.
phone's right here. I ain't looking at no Max Prep.
Hey,
I did my homework. I did my research. Like Pep said, y'all done had the games for multiple days.
man, you even had a sponsor for your research last week.
Mallard Creek at Huff. Coach Johnson, you go first here.
I'm going to say Huff.
All right. Producer.
Huff.
Big Shelby.
I'm going to go Huff.
Engine.
Huff.
Joe.
Huff.
Is this to follow the Webb game? Does everybody want to follow Webb? I mean, this is,
No one is
we see where
following
it's gonna
you.
shake up at.
That's what it is.
Hey, we're gonna see where it shake up at in a couple. And we about to find out. Don't worry about it.
Well, it's a clean sweep for Huff this week. All right.
No one thinks Huff's gonna lose twice in the same season.
It's hard to beat a good team
Yeah.
twice, man. It's hard to beat a good team twice. Charlotte Christian at Raven Gap. Producer.
Raven Gap.
Coach Johnson.
Raven Gap.
Joe.
Raven Gap.
I'm going to take Charlotte Christian. Engine.
I mean, after seeing what them boys did to Cannon School last week, Raven Gap.
Big Shelby.
I'm going Raven Gap.
Come on, Coach Estep. I believe in y'all, Coach. You're going to go down there and get it done, baby. You'll get it done. Let's go. Chambers at AC Reynolds.
Remember the Pep Man's
Joe.
curse.
Chambers.
Oh, man. I will take Chambers. Engine.
Chambers.
Big Shelby.
I'm going Chambers.
Producer.
Chambers.
Coach Johnson.
Big, fast, well-coached Chambers.
We avoided videos this week. Good job. Bonus. Ledford at Northwest Cabarrus. Engine.
You know, for 17 years, I thought that this school was spelled Northworst, Northworst Cabarrus. And come to find out, it's Northwest Cabarrus. Give me Northwest.
Wow.
Mr.
Big
All my
Shelby.
account reports, everything.
Wow.
I'm going Ledford.
He's doing research.
Yep.
Yeah, I know he is. Producer.
He's on Simmons right now.
I'm
I
going
said
Ledford.
Ledford. I said Ledford.
You know you said.
I got you.
Left foot, right foot.
Coach Johnson.
I saw where Ledford scored 495 points. That's amazing.
One game.
Who said in one game?
Sorry, Coach Johnson.
Coach, you going with Ledford?
Ledford.
Did you accurately record my pick as Ledford, man?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, just making sure.
Joe.
Yeah, Ledford has close to 30 turnovers they've forced this year. So give me them in these field conditions. Give me Ledford.
Come on, Alex Walker. Ray, let's get it done, baby.
I am going to go with Northwest Cabarrus. Home field advantage. They know that field.
The Nutties will be going wow. Yeah.
They did some cool things up there, man. I got it on video. The little lights, and they do a little thing at the end of the game where they
Trojan Nutties are on point
song and all that. Yeah, there you go. All right. All that being said, now I'll put you guys in the background. I'm gonna do a quick Pet Man's players, and then we'll go to slime time. So, hang tight. All right, Pet Man's Players, as always, is sponsored by VTO Sports. For all your camp needs in the offseason, make sure you check them out at VTOsports.com. They do a great job in preparing you for those big camps like ours, the Winter Showcase, coming up on December the 10th. All right. Now, let's talk about some guys that really stood out last week. And we were at Northwest Cabarrus in Ashbrook, and obviously, they had a few guys that did really well. Running back Jamari Norred scored the first touchdown of the game, number 5. And he ran hard all night long and leading the Trojans to that 17-3 victory. I felt like the Ashbrook defense did a good job. I want to highlight a few guys: Elijah Haynes, Sincere Sanders Moss, Devon Biggers, and a few other guys. They played a great game for 2.5 quarters. They kept Northwest Cabarrus off the board. And they had a 3-0 lead, to the middle of the third quarter, which was, really impressive. Northwest Cabarrus offensive lineman Jack Branham. Northwest Cabarrus started running a lot of off-tackle power in the second half to get that run game going, and he was pulling from that guard position. Helped lead that powerful run game to get it going and get those 17 points on the board. Carmelo Best, number 4. It wasn't his best night. They really keyed on him hard from a Northwest Cabarrus defensive perspective. But he was a big reason why they were in the playoffs in the first place. He had a great season, and because of that great season, he was selected for the Queen City Senior Bowl. Great job, Melo. Excellent. All right, Western Rand. Adrian Stockton had 5 catches for 175 yards in their playoff victory. East Gaston defensive back Jace Rowe, 2 interceptions against Community School Davidson and 3 tackles in that close loss. West Charlotte linebacker Julian Carmichael, 3 interceptions in their big victory over Stuart Kramer. Really, really great vision. Great discipline in his zone drops, and he played well in man coverage as well. Wide variety of how he was playing on those interceptions. Tackled well in space also. Great job for that young man. All right, Pine Lake Nick Reed, he set 3 school passing records in that big playoff victory. I told Coach Charlie, did he switch to the air raid? He threw for over 400 yards in that game. Great job for Nick. Northwest Guilford quarterback Tanner Blue, we talked about him a couple times, 19-28. 370 yards and 3 touchdowns in their playoff victory. Zion Booker, another great game. After being on the show with us last week, he had 5 catches, 90 yards, 3 touchdowns in that first-round victory over Porter Ridge. Talked about Maiden. Failed to mention him during the preview, but running back Ben Gibbs had a great game. 26 carries, 221 yards, 5 touchdowns in the victory over Polk County. Keegan Moose, TD Moose, another great game. Selected for the Queen City Senior Bowl. 212 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in the victory over Walkertown on the road. East Gaston, even though they lost defensive lineman Peyton Parker, I watched his film. This was incredible. 6 sacks. I didn't have 6 sacks in my career. He had in one game in that loss to Community School Davidson. Back to Community School Davidson. Quarterback A.J. Sirianni, another great game, 334 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. West Lincoln, a great career came to an end with Mason Avery doing some big things. 255 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. I picked them to win last week, but they lost, unfortunately, to Hendersonville. He also had 8 tackles in that game from a linebacker perspective. A great young man, great talented athlete. Congratulations on a great high school career, Mason. Independence quarterback Justin Little, 19 of 23 for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns in their victory over Page. And then finally, mentioned it earlier, Providence Day wide receiver Jordan Shipp. He had 3 touchdown catches in that playoff victory over Country Day. Once again, Pep Man's Players is sponsored by VTO Sports. Make sure you go to VTOsports.com and check them out for all of your off-season camp needs to get you ready for big camps like the Winter Showcase. And I'm going to bring on the engine to briefly talk about where we are with the Winter Showcase right now. I know he's got some exciting news because he shared it with me. So, what you got for us, Engine?
For people who watched our show last spring, February, March, April, I told you that CFI was about to change the way that recruiting is done in the Carolinas. I told you that the greatest single recruiting showcase was going to happen on May the 7th at Mallard Creek High School at our HBCU Carolina Showcase. Sure enough, 31 colleges and universities showed up. 11 collegiate head coaches showed up. Almost, I think the final number was like 97 or 98. Almost 100 college coaches were on site and watched 340, 339, whatever that final number was, Pep, 340 of the top athletes in the Carolinas, but not just the Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee, New York, Pennsylvania, even California showed up. And now here we are, Pep, a month out in the middle of football season when college coaches are busy to the max, and we have already exceeded the total number of colleges that are committed to coming on December 10th to the Winter Showcase. Since this show began, a college head coach and we're texting back and forth. He is coming. He just let me know. We have schools that are saying, hey, if we're not in the Division II semifinals, we're there. Hey, if we're not in the FCS playoffs, whatever they call it, we're there. We've already exceeded the 31 colleges and universities. We've already done it. Before this thing is over with, we will probably have somewhere around 40 colleges that are present. We may not have the sheer magnitude of coaches because there's so many other things going on, official visits. We have colleges who are sending coaches down despite the fact that they're hosting official visits that weekend. This thing is blowing up. Seniors, class of 2023. You need to get in on this. If you do not have an FBS offer, you need to get in on this. If you do not have the offer and you know for a fact that's where you are going next year, you need to get in on this. If you do not have an offer because you feel like you are being overlooked, you need to get in on this. The number of colleges that will be here is mind-blowing. It's going to be even bigger than what I thought it was going to be. And we all know, I think this thing is going to be pretty stinking big. Class of 2024. This is when you get started on your recruiting process. Your recruiting process technically begins in a couple of months. But we are going to give you a jump start. We are going to give you a little pick-me-up. This thing is going to be amazing. We have incredible talent already that have registered from South Carolina, from Tennessee. I have people as far away. I had a kid hit me up yesterday from Washington State. That may be the farthest you can travel in the United States, from Washington State to North Carolina. I don't know. He hit me up. Coach, how do I come? I don't know if he can make it or not. That is a long trip on December the 10th. But if you have not signed up and you are in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia, West Virginia, Kentucky, you need to do it. We know that as teams drop out of the playoffs, that players are going to sign up like crazy. Pep can attest. Last year, about 3 weeks out, we started gaining somewhere between 25 and 30 players registered a day. We are just at a month out yesterday. This thing is going to start booming. We already have great numbers, but these numbers are going to multiply. If you're a parent, if you're a student, a 2023, 2024 kid, you need to be there because colleges are going to be. You cannot say you're slept on if you're sleeping in on Saturday, December 10th. You don't deserve. You deserve to be slept on. That's all I got, Pep.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Kenneth. We'll cut that up. We'll put that out there. You're also going to start seeing some ads go out for the showcase because I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to sign up for it. And it is a great opportunity. I mean, how many times have we seen all these other, camps? I won't say what I want to say, but all these other camps are here that are charging upwards of $200 and more, and they're not offering college coaches, or they're offering coaches that are like third level grad assistants that are going to come out there and they can't make any decisions.
A former player who is a high school coach posted a link to a camp. I won't say their names, but it starts with Prospect. $300. It is the biggest scam in the camp industry. They have 5 colleges listed who are coming. Now, 2 years ago, I contacted these 5 schools because I had a player who went to it, and not a single school said they were actually going. They were sending like GAs and non-paid position coaches, volunteer coaches to this thing. 5 schools, $300, and they do it all over the country. Pep, we will bring in, if not 40, as close to 40 as you can be and not hit 40 for 1/3 of the price. For less than what your tennis shoes cost that you are wearing right now. You can have 40 colleges, potentially 35 colleges, evaluate you and offer you on the spot, because in December, they will come ready to offer with money in hand.
Exactly. And if you can't make that investment in your career and give yourself that opportunity, like you said, you deserve to be slept on, Kenneth. That's exactly right. But now it's that time to slide with your favorite host, Nah.
You know what time it is? It's late, so let's get this thing rolling. Mega producer, a.k.a. Brandon Savage. Who are you sliming on tonight?
I know what I always say, that I'm done with the Panther slimes, but I cannot let a 35-0 deficit at halftime just slide. I can't. I cannot. My slime for the night was decided on Sunday at about 2:30 p.m. I cannot. I don't understand how an NFL team can be down 35-0 at halftime. That should not happen. You see it in high school. You see it in college. Cool. An NFL team should never be down by 35 points at halftime. Never. I don't care if your backup quarterback is in. It should not happen. Just total mismanagement of a team. Yeah, I just don't get it, man. And even with, we got a good interim coach, so it just shouldn't happen. The Panthers are in a rebuild, but they shouldn't be 35-0 bad at this point. That's crazy. And it's not like you were playing an undefeated team. I mean, the Bengals are decent, but they're not 35-0 good. So I couldn't let that go. So yet again, I'm slamming the Panthers. I couldn't let that go. Nah. Mm-mm.
The most unbelievable, awful first half I have ever seen in my life. Do we still have the special guest, Hughes? Is he available? I guess not. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and slime. My wife is in the other room, so she'll see it on the debit card anyhow. Yesterday, I was on my way to school. We had a teacher work day because voting takes place in Cabarrus County schools. They shut down schools. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself this morning. I'm going to treat myself at Bojangles. So I stopped at Bojangles. Actually, my wife wouldn't know this. She wasn't in the room because I pay with cash. And the reason why I know that is because I ordered a ham biscuit combos with fries and a Cheerwine with no ice. So the lady says it's $6.27. So I rolled up and I give the lady $10.30. Well, first off, she gave me the wrong bag. She gave me a bag with 3 steak biscuits in it. And while that was probably worth more than what I bought, I said, this is not my bag. And she said, it's not your bag. Well, what did you order? I said, a country ham biscuit with seasoned fries and a Cheerwine no ice. She said, I don't see that order anywhere on the screen. I said, well, you told me it was $6.27. Oh, I see it now. So she proceeds to give me back from a $10 bill. She proceeds to give me back $3. And I said, ma'am, I gave you $10.30. She said, yes. And I'm giving you $3 back. And I said, ma'am, you may want to do the math on that. Wait, hold on. Am I doing my math wrong right now? Anyhow, she got my change all messed up. And so finally we get the change corrected. I give her the 3 biscuits back. And then she gives me my Cheerwine, no ice. Thank you very much. No straw. She gives me my country ham biscuit. Thank you very much. But she gives me freaking Bo Rounds. Everyone knows Bo Rounds are the most disgusting thing that Bojangles offers. So that afternoon, I was headed to a workshop, and I was talking to my brother, J.R. Robinson, about Chase and how good they are. And I said, man, I'm hungry. I'm going to pull into Bojangles. I'm going to see if I can get this right today. They messed up my order 3 times this morning. I'm going to see if this is right. And so I pull in, and after I waited 15 minutes before they said it was going to be a 4-minute drop, I finally went inside and I said, what do y'all have? Can you just give me something? Because this number 10 with seasoned fries and a Cheerwine with no ice, obviously y'all ain't got it. The girl said, well, we don't have anything ready. They didn't have any chicken ready. Bojangles. Y'all know how much love I give to y'all. Y'all know I've invested more money in Bojangles drive-thrus than I will ever invest into my children's education fund. Can we please start getting orders right? Please start getting orders right. That's all I got, Pep. Pep Man, who you slamming tonight?
You know, I always said when I get older and I retire from my real career, I want to go work as a fast food manager because I really want to see what is the problem. What is the problem?
What is
really the problem?
What is the problem?
Goodness gracious, man. So tonight, our show was an NWO theme. If you're coming on late, you may wonder why our names are the way they are. One of the things that I just want to say is if you have a problem, and I've said this before, and it's been a while, but if you have a problem with anything that I am involved in, you come to me. I'm a man. You send me a DM. Most people have my phone number if you're in the high school community. I got email. I am very easily found, and we can have a conversation. And I will do my best to help you alleviate any kind of situation that you may have. But I am not going to sit here in public forums and have stupid conversations about stuff that we can talk about man to man. I always feel like anyone that can't talk to me man to man, there's a problem. And the problem is with you, not me. So if you got a problem with something that I'm involved in, send me a DM, call me, text me. We can talk about it man to man. We'll get it settled. Point blank and period. I'm tired of all this stuff going on, and I'm right here, and we can talk it out man to man.
Agreed, Pep. Agreed. Is Coach Johnson still on, or did he bounce?
I
Is
mean,
that it?
I'm here. I'm ready.
Coach Johnson.
Coach McClamrock.
Who's
I got. I'm going to slime Giselle. Okay. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback in the history of the world. The Giants thought they ended him. He came back, proved himself again. Bill Belichick said he was old, washed up, tried to get rid of him. He's back. Wins the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. You just try to tell him he can't play football anymore. He got right last Sunday against Billups' terrible Rams. And they're going to win the NFC South. I just think it's a lesson in you have to let folks pursue their passion, and you can't take that away from him. He's the GOAT, and I'll argue that with anybody. And Giselle, do better.
Facts on that.
Well, dang, Giselle.
Can't argue with
You
that.
got slimed.
I won't
Never
argue with
slimed
that
a
at all.
model before.
Can't argue with anything he said. Nope.
Model probably looked pretty good in slime.
I'm not touching that one. Not touching that one. I will not get canceled.
All right. Marcus Bell with a comment for you, Engine. Leave Bojangles alone before you have a heart attack.
You know what? I've always said, if I'm going to die of anything, let me die with a Bojangles biscuit in my hand and a Cheerwine with no ice in my cup holder.
I was a little surprised to hear the world's foremost leading expert in Bojangles say that he didn't like bow rounds. I was a little surprised at that, man.
The only thing worse than bow rounds is McDonald's little thing that they give you.
Hash browns.
Hash browns.
Coach, you got to hit up the Biscuitville. That's underrated, I think. Maybe you need to switch to the Biscuitville. I don't know.
I don't have a Biscuitville near me, Coach. I have McClamrock rules of life, and rule number 1 is never pass a Bojangles without stopping. I pass a Bojangles every single day on my way to work, and every single day coming home. And so it is not unusual for me to stop at Bojangles. Check if my wife is still around. No less than 10 times a week.
Man, if they had a rewards program, you'd be in business.
I know, right?
I mean, some people do other vices. I do Bojangles.
Nothing wrong with it. Not at all.
Good
I
place.
do like Biscuitville. There is one in Greensboro and Durham that I've stopped in along the ways on various trips. I do appreciate them.
Benji Moose, I appreciate that. I've heard a lot of similar comments, but I'm very aggressive, when people try to come, about things that they don't really know about. So, yeah, appreciate that. So we'll figure out where we're going Thursday and Friday, if we're going to go Thursday and Friday, or if we even go at all. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but please try to get out and support your teams. I know it's going to be rain. It's going to be nasty, but I know they'll appreciate it. Second round of playoffs, it's a big round. A lot of coaches, a lot of teams have done a lot of hard work to get to this point. Make sure you try to go out there and support them. We will only do a Friday night show. There's not going to be 2 shows. It'll only be one CFI After Dark show Friday night. So
one
we'll talk about the
cumulative show.
Thursday games. That's right. One cumulative show. Talk about Thursday games, and we'll talk about Friday games on Friday night. So, and I know a couple of teams are playing Saturday, like Providence Day, and I think a couple other ones. And this is a good way to end the show from Joe. CFI full life.
We can get a belt if you want to spray paint it. You want to spray paint a belt? We'll get one.
We'll work on that. But I gotta say, when you're NWO or you're CFI, it's just too sweet. Good night, everybody.
I love it.
Whoa. Not another spam bot. Girls 18 to, oh no. Did you want some of the NWO? Oh, no. Get out of here. Thank you, Chat Administrator. Good night, everybody.